Hi, welcome to Conversations Matter with me, Heather Criswell. Today I wanted to share with you in this episode a conversation that I had with an amazing dear friend yesterday that sparked some thoughts in my head, and I wanted to share them with you. Again, these conversations, these videos are really just to spark the conversation with yourself and with your family, friends, and community so that we can start talking and really feeling out what it is that we're wanting in this world, what feels good to us in the moment. And that's what I love about conversations with friends is they really bring out the best in ourselves and each other often, even when it doesn't look like the best. So we were having a conversation yesterday about quitting. And she was talking about her daughter struggling with some stuff and that she had to keep trying and keep going. And I had a moment where I was like, I wonder how I feel about that. And we talked back and forth and I said, and I shared with her this experience of me in softball as a kid. My mom and dad said, let's play softball. Great, I'll play softball. And I hated it. I hated every single moment of it. I was terrible at it. It just was awful. And my parents said, you've got to stick this out. You know, you made a commitment to the team. You made a commitment to yourself. You made a commitment to us. And I didn't quite understand it because I hated it. And they hated me being there. They put me in left field. They put me on the bench. They literally, when I'd get up to hit the ball, and I did hit well, I could hit the ball. But as soon as I got up to hit the ball, I'd hit it and start running and they'd go, run, Heather. And I'm like, I am. I just wasn't good at it and I knew it. And it wasn't something that I loved. It didn't fill me up. And every time I went, it was just torture. And it was torture to me. It was torture to my parents. It was torture to the team. They hated me being on their team and I hated being there. And so I asked myself, what are the questions that we need to ask ourselves when we are thinking about quitting something? Because I do believe there are times when we need to quit. And what we're doing when we tell each other and our children in the moment of don't quit, you've got to muster through this, you've got to get through it, struggle, put forth the effort when they really don't want to, is what we're telling them is stay in that job that sucks. Stay in that job for 30 years because you made a commitment to do this work. Stay in it for retirement. Stay in a relationship because you made a commitment to be married. What about if that relationship is toxic? What about if that job is toxic? And for me, softball was toxic. I didn't do it well. I didn't like it. Nobody liked me on the team. I was a nuisance to everybody. And I'm no joke, I was terrible. And I realized I'm just not a sports girl. I like talking. So it's just food for thought. And so I started asking myself, what can I say to my son that would help spark, is it something he actually really hates, or is this just a moment, right? And so I reference BMX. He loves BMX. And there are times when he's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to BMX. I don't like it anymore. And I look at him and I say, is that true? And I said, do you really not like BMX? Because when you're out there, you seem like you're having a great time. You do so well. You're amazing at it. You're smiling. You never want to get off the course. You never want to come home. And he's like, yeah, mommy, I just don't want to go today. I don't feel like it. I don't feel good. I'm tired. And that's different, right? So it's getting to the core of, do you really hate your job? Or is it just today you want a vacation? You just need a break. Those are different than wanting to quit for the sake of quitting versus I just need a break, or quitting because you actually really hate it. Because there's nothing I want more for my son than to have a joyous, happy life. And there are going to be moments when you hate it. But overall, when you look back, you want it to be a place where God, I really loved BMX. There were days I didn't want to do it, but I really loved it. And the same thing happened with me with my preschool. There were days I did not want to be there. I did not want to be there at the crack of dawn at 5:36 in the morning till 6:37 at night every single day. And yet I wanted to get up and I knew those kids were there and I loved them. The same thing for my wellness center. The same thing for strategy coaches that I do now, business strategy. when I show up, I love it. I'm in it. Just sometimes I just want to be on a cruise instead. But I will tell you, the things that I hate, going to a networking group, I hate going to those places. So I don't do them anymore very often, only if it feels right or good. So again, going back to asking yourself the question, do I just need a break, or is this really something I don't like? Because the last thing we want to do is be stuck in a toxic relationship, in a bad job for 30 years, getting sick, looking back on it and saying, I retired for what? So that I could, have good benefits, so that I could be in the hospital and not go into debt or not go into bankruptcy. No. Things are changing, times are changing, and we are seeing the creative genius that we all have inside of us. So have that conversation with yourself. When you're in the moment and you want to quit something, stop and have a conversation. Do I really hate this? Or is it just that I need a moment right now? Because trust your gut. It's there for you all the time. And again, these conversations are not to tell each other what we should or shouldn't be thinking. It's to spark the idea inside. How do I feel about this? Because her and I do have different opinions, but what we could come to an agreement on was that when we really love something, sometimes it feels like quitting, but we need to press on. And when we really hate something, sometimes it feels like quitting and we need to stop. So I hope you have a great conversation with yourself and others today, and know that conversations matter, and that conversations rooted in love like we had yesterday change everything. Love you guys. Have a great day. Thanks so much.